welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please click the like and subscribe button and click the notification bell so you get notifications of future videos to come. My name is Marianne, and today we're going to talk about one of the best language learning apps there are, and I'm going to talk about how it works and what's been my experience using it. So Duolingo is a free language-based app that works for either iOS or Android on your smartphone, or it's also available on your web browser. It is free, and we will talk about this later on. It is free, but they do offer a premium subscription, which allows you to get more perks and no ads, but I'll talk about that later. So I've been using it for years now, and I'm actually on my 1,504 day. And so what that means is that every day I've been doing my Duolingo. So there was one day where where I didn't have Wi-Fi and I couldn't do it, and I totally forgot about it, and I totally cried when I found out that that I lost my streak, and that was a long time ago. I was still like in my 300th day or something like that. So I did use a streak save service, but other than that, I have been consistent in doing my Duolingo every single day. So my routine has been every single morning. That's one of the first things I would do so that I get it done and I don't forget about it. And I actually, for about the past, definitely since the pandemic started, I've been doing about 2 hours worth in the morning and normally about a couple of hours at night as well. And that includes learning like the new skills and practicing and all that stuff. So the app is designed as a skill tree, and I will show you guys how it looks. So that's what Duolingo looks like. So we're obviously looking at my laptop, not on my phone. It looks pretty much similar if you're looking on your phone. So this one right here is the tree. So if you're looking at it, so the very first crown actually is the intro, and then it goes down and so on and so forth. So Duolingo is made up of basically crowns. So this is one crown, the second crown, and so on and so forth. So it's one skill. Each skill has 5 levels in it. So each one of these has 5 levels in it. And what you do is you basically just go through them. And any skill that you haven't done, and I don't have too many of them, like this one, for example, is incomplete, so it's not completely golden. But otherwise, if you have the skill done, then it's completely golden. Although you can go back to them and do practice runs anytime you want, as many times as you want. So that is the skill tree, and it's quite extensive. Even though I've been doing this for years, there's quite a lot that I still haven't done because I do tend to do a lot of practice. So these ones that are blank, they are the ones that are still locked because I have not completed the previous ones. So as I complete them, they will get unlocked, and then I will be able to do them. But yes, the tree is quite extensive, and they're adding... they keep adding more and more skills as you go along, so it basically never ends. And again, you can keep on practicing if it does end. So another thing I have to show you is, and I will talk about this later on, is the leaderboard, which they have. So for you competitive people, they do have leaderboards where you basically compete with other people in your league, and they have oh, I guess it doesn't show on here. I think they have 8 leagues or something like that, or 8 or 10 starting from the bottom, and then the top one is the Diamond League, and you basically cannot go any further than the Diamond League. So what happens is if you're in the top 3 normally of your league, and it repeats every Sunday, or it repeats every Sunday. So basically every Sunday you go back to 0, and then you compete again with your fellow Duolingo people, and so the top 3 move on or move up to the next league. And then if you get out of the top 10, you drop down on to the next league below. So you basically need to stay in the top 10 in order to stay in that league. So you earn XP points. So what happens is, right? So every time you complete a level or a skill, you earn XP points. So what that is it's basically performance points. And then at the end of each crown, you earn gems or lingots. So basically gems are, you get them if you're using a smartphone, and the same is for lingots, which you get by using the web browser. So for gems, you get them at the end of each crown. So gems and lingots, or XPs can be used to purchase things. So things like streak freeze or heart refills, things like that. So let's talk about hearts. So you're basically provided with 5 hearts in doing your lessons. So what it is if you answer questions incorrectly too many times, so every time you answer a question incorrectly, you get 1 heart taken out. And once you get all 5 hearts taken out, then you're basically done for that time. They do get refilled every 5 hours. So you will get a notification after 5 hours saying your hearts are full again. Another option is you can refill your hearts by using your XPs and your gems. Actually, no, your gems to fill your hearts, and then you can get them started. So we do provide you the options of keeping on going. For me, I've never really had the experience of having to wait the 5 hours to get my hearts filled or refilled, because I've always just had enough gems to refill my hearts, and so then I can just keep going and going and going. So those are hearts. Leaderboards, so you can opt out of leaderboards. Their settings are really good in that you can opt out of leaderboards if you don't want that kind of competition, and some people don't, and that's totally fine. You also get to set up your own daily goals. So your daily goals is the number of XPs that you learn. So they have easy, medium, hard. So I don't remember. I think they used to have them as number of XPs, but now they have them as number of minutes that you use for Duolingo and learning Duolingo. So I think their difficult is like 20 minutes, which is basically nothing. So it's pretty easy to reach your daily goal, and that's not a problem at all. But you do get to set that. So if you find that you have no time, or you will have no time during the week, and you just want to work on your Duolingo for 5 minutes a day, then you can definitely set that up, and that's going to happen. So then you will still reach your goal with the number of minutes that you've set up every day. So that is it. So is Duolingo free? Yes, it is completely free, but they do, like I said before, they do offer a premium free or a premium subscription, and it's $10 US per month. And what it gets you is no ads, and you get to have unlimited hearts. So again, I mean, you will never run out of hearts, so you can keep on going. But again, if you have enough gems anyway or XPs, you can refill those hearts. So I don't really know if that part of it is worth it. One good thing probably about getting a premium subscription, and I don't have it, I've never had a premium subscription, is you get to review your mistakes. And I will talk about it later when I talk about the pros and cons, but you basically don't get a chance to find out why your answer was marked wrong. So let's start with the pros, because I mean, it's a good language app, and especially for free, definitely use it. And you know, a lot of people ask if you can get fluent or if it's enough for you to learn a language. Absolutely. But you need to remember that it's also your effort. It's also based on the effort that you put in learning the language. So for me, I use Duolingo, and then I also watch a lot of movies or series on YouTube that's in Spanish or have Spanish subtitles, just to further my understanding. And I do subscribe to some Spanish channels or Spanish learning channels on YouTube that explain things further than Duolingo does. And I also have a book that explains especially grammar, the grammar rules, very well. So I do tend to use that. So I guess it really depends on the effort you put in. If you're only putting in the effort in doing your lessons and you get through 5 minutes a day and you're not doing any other practice other than that, and you're not trying to use the language that you're learning, well, you're probably not going to get as much out of it as someone who does a lot more in practicing the language that they're learning. Speaking of languages, Duolingo offers a lot of languages. They have Japanese, I believe they have Hawaiian, I believe they have Cantonese and Mandarin, and obviously Spanish, French. They have English. They actually offer an English proficiency test for English learners. And so that's a good thing for people who are learning English. I believe that the proficiency level that they want you to get up to, their goal is to have you at level B2. So I think this is based on the European system where they have A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. And so they do want you to be able to reach a proficiency level of B2 in doing your lessons. There are tests that you can actually take online that tests your proficiency level where you are. I think they say that even though C1 and C2 are the highest levels, they say that even native speakers of a particular language don't really even reach that proficiency, because it's not just speaking, it's not just listening, it's also grammar. Okay, so let's move on to the pros and cons. Number one, it's free. It's absolutely free. You can get so much out of it, even with just the free version. I've never wanted to subscribe to the premium subscription ever, and I've never had a problem with it. The only thing why I would think that people might want to is to get rid of the ads and to get to review their mistakes, which I might actually would want that if I ever had a choice. Number two, it's very user-friendly. Even the web browser one, which I tend to use very rarely because I'm always on my phone, but it's very user-friendly, and I've never had a problem figuring out where to go and all that stuff. So it's very user-friendly. Never gets boring. It doesn't. I've been doing this for, I want to say 3 years, 4 years maybe, and I have never once wanted to not do it anymore because I didn't have anything to do, or there were no further practice levels, or there were no further tests or anything like that. So it never gets boring. They have the leaderboards. They have Duolingo stories, which practice your reading and listening comprehension. They also have Duolingo podcasts, which further practice your listening comprehension. So I've never gotten bored, ever. So those are the 3 pros, and those are, those are pretty major. And I like the fact that I think my favorite part is the fact that I just never get bored. Learning a language, a lot of people start it and then they don't finish it because they get bored or they give up or whatever. And it's just never been like that with Duolingo. Okay, here are my cons. So, one of the things with Duolingo is that they have discussion forums that are monitored by admins. However, it's basically forums with your fellow Duolingo learners for the language that you're learning. So basically what that means is you can ask questions on there as to why your answer was marked wrong, or if you just have a general question. But also the people who are answering your questions will be your fellow learners. So that means that sometimes the answers that they are giving you are inaccurate or just based on guesses, because they're also learning. So they don't really know sometimes whether something is right. And that can get frustrating at times. But for example, if you ask a question and 10 people answer and they all have the same answer, well then it's probably right. Their answer is probably right. You can also report your answer if you think that it was marked incorrectly. So if you think that your answer is correct, you just hit the button that says report, and you basically get a notification from the Duolingo team just saying this is right, it has now been changed, blah blah blah. So that's good. So that's my kind of frustration with discussion forums. I do tend to read them because sometimes it's good to know what other people are thinking. So yeah, they're okay, they're there. Use them because they're there for a reason. So my second con is the lack of consistency, and this is probably a bigger frustration for me because sometimes I will set up goals for myself where I will do, let's say right now I'm in a position where I'm doing 15 crowns, so 15 skills, so 5 levels in each one. So after you've done all of those, then you can practice all 15 crowns. And so sometimes I set up a goal, actually I set up a daily goal to do all of them with no mistakes at all. And so lack of consistency is when Duolingo sometimes will ask the same questions or the same type of questions but have different answers. So you can have the same answer for 2 types of questions that are similar, and one of them will be marked wrong, but then you won't get an explanation as to why. So you can always report it saying that your answer is correct, but then you have to wait until you get a notification saying that you are correct. But if it isn't correct, you don't get an explanation as to why. And I guess this is where the premium subscription comes in, where you can review your mistakes. But it would be nice if Duolingo, and I don't know if different people work on different levels or different types of questions. But it would be nice if they all had if they're all on the same page. So answers should be the same if the questions are similar. And if they're not, then maybe here's a suggestion is to provide some kind of explanation. And they do provide tips along the way if you choose to have them on your program. They do provide tips, but I find that sometimes the tips are not really, it's not that they're not accurate, but they're not really relative to the question that's being asked. I think they're like maybe done by a computer, like they're computer generated, so maybe that's why. So yeah, so lack of consistency is probably my biggest problem with the program. But other than that, Duolingo is amazing. It's a great program. I've used Rosetta Stone before. Now, Rosetta Stone, first of all, is very expensive, but you basically get the software, and you basically get the software, you get a microphone that you can use, and everything that you need. And it's probably, I mean, for something that costs that much, it does give you a lot more in terms of the resources that you have. But I found Rosetta Stone very frustrating when I was doing it, and this was years ago, because they'd have problems with the microphone, and they'd have problems with the speaker, and I was always having problems with that. And that really kind of it breaks your streak, because you're having to deal with all these technological problems. And with Duolingo, I have never had a problem with, of course, I'm using my phone. I've never had a problem with technology, with the speaker, the microphone, all that stuff. So, so definitely one win for Duolingo against Rosetta Stone. So there are other Duolingo, or there are other foreign language learning apps out there. So if you are taking them, or if you're using another one that's not Duolingo, or if you are using Duolingo, feel free to comment down below and let me know how it's going. Let me know if it's working out for you. Let me know what you think. Maybe you can compare it to Duolingo or other language learning apps. Let me know. So again, if this video has provided any value to you at all, please, please, please click the like button. It does help out a lot. And obviously hit subscribe if you can. Or if you have friends who are learning a language or who wants to learn a language, feel free to share the video with them. And other than that, that's it, folks. I hope you did get some value for this video. And if you have any questions or anything like that about the app, or about my experience with Duolingo, or even Rosetta Stone for that matter, feel free to ask down in the comments below. And other than that, I will see you next time.